Good morning from beautiful Tavira, Portugal. Tavira is in the Algarve region of Portugal, and I find myself in the Old Town. You are looking at none other than the hotel where I stayed last night, which in and by itself is a historic building. That is the convent of Nossa Senhora da Graça. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Graca, Graca. I'm not sure how they pronounce the C, but nonetheless, it is just a spectacular morning here. It's the middle of November, and I find myself just with a little bit of time to do one of my walk and talk videos and give you a tour of this small town. Fortunately, it is a rather small town, so I should be able to share it with you here over the next 30 minutes as I walk along. And this church right here is one of many. It's the church of, I think, Santa Maria right here. And I don't believe that it's open. I was told that they have quite a few churches here in this town, and their town or village, and there's only one priest. So the chance of finding one open isn't always your best shot. But I did see a TripAdvisor posting on the rear door there with hours, so maybe on my way back to the hotel and on my way out of town I will be able to show you the inside of this church. And just across from this church here, I'll give you a nice pan up of the archway. You can see the archway there. And just across from this church here, I'm actually up on a little bit of a overlook of the city of Tavira, and I was told that my pronunciation of that is rather good. Here you can see the rooftops, and I see fruit trees, orange trees in the backyard of many of these homes. And then here is yet another church, one of many. This would be the Church of Santiago. So there is the Church of Santiago right there. What an absolutely beautiful, beautiful morning to be showing this wonderful city to you. I'm just going to walk along. Now this is just over here is the castle, or the remnants of a castle. There's the bell tolling. I think it's probably about 8:30 right now, perhaps. So if I'm not mistaken, this would be the castle right here. Look at this. Boy, if these walls could talk. Just imagine all the stories that they could tell you. Alright. And inside they have looks like a garden. They do. They have a garden inside. Here you can see they're growing different vegetables. What do they have growing there? Looks like they have pimento. You see they have got some pimento growing. Wow. What a special place. I actually see somebody working in the back. This looks like roses along these trellises. Give a shout out to Phil back in Central Michigan. Phil, I'm sure you're probably appreciating seeing this. And then here are some steps leading up, and I don't see anything stopping me from taking you up the steps. So let's go up the steps to the castle wall. Quite a little bit of a climb, and I find myself top with a nice view of the church. Look at this. There's your church. What a peaceful morning. This must have been a room of some sort. This town is actually situated on a river, and I can show that to you right here. And here's a view looking down on the garden here. This really is a special place in the world. Portugal. This is my first visit to this city, or to this country, I should say, rather. And I think, as Arnold Schwarzenegger once said, I'll be back. Alright, I'm going to see if I can't find my way down to the riverfront and walk along the river with you. Perhaps I'll have a better view of the town from here. There you have it, folks. Look. There it is, Tavira. And just over those rooftops is a Roman bridge. All right, let's go explore the old town. Just down from the castle, as I come into the lower part of the old town, is this beautiful church. And as I was told this morning, it's not always easy to find a church open here in Tavira, but nonetheless, I can still show you the outside of the church. I can't imagine that this church is not very, very old. I can zoom in right there. That's a So this was part of the Roman Empire at one point in time. All right, so let's continue on with the tour of Old Town Tavira. On my way down to the old town, if you will, the lower level of the old town, and this looks like this might be Main Street, and not a lot of people here. You see every now and then somebody coming along like this here. Looks like the postal carrier, perhaps. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk this way. The bridge is just up there, and the river as well, of course. So I'm going to actually come down through this way here and see if I can't walk along this area. Just give you a feel of the old town here before going across the bridge. I've actually seen in some of the pictures of Tavira some rather nice harbor with some boats. So we will walk along a little ways, and all the while you see cork. Cork must be very big in Portugal. You see cork purses, cork hats, cork fanny packs. You see? Look at. I can remember a time back when I spent the better part of a summer looking for a man purse in Italy. So here you see a bunch of the locals just kind of hanging out, having their morning espresso. And you see they have the Christmas decorations all set up. Don't know if they've actually started the Christmas festivities yet, if you call it festivities, but I'm finding that traveling during this time of the year is so much nicer from the weather perspective. It's not as crowded with tourists. Look at the tile on the buildings here. All along you see buildings with just beautiful tile work. And then of course you've got your graffiti as well. You always get a good indication from a town as you walk through a town if there's graffiti all over the walls. It gives you some indication that there's some, perhaps what I like to call undesirables in the community. So I find my way to looks like a park here, right along the river. And over here would be the Roman bridge. You see. There's your Roman bridge right there. So I can zoom in a little bit on that. Give you a nice view. I'd imagine quite a few chariots went over that bridge back in the day. And here's another pedestrian bridge. All right, I'm gonna walk. I think there's a market just over here on this side of the river. We'll go check that out and then maybe go find the harbor. All right, I'll spend some time walking along the storefronts here. Somewhere along here, I believe you can see the locals having their morning cup of coffee. Pastelleria. So here's a little cafe. Somewhere up ahead is a market, unless this is the market itself that people have been referencing. And I believe just up ahead will be the harbor. As I walk along, I found this little stretch of buildings, just beautiful, with some nice tile, and there's an older woman walking along. You can see her off there in the distance, and she seems to know everybody that passes her. She stops and gives them a good morning greeting, it seems. So look at the buildings here. Wonder if they had like building codes back then, like you can't use pink tiles, or you can't use certain color tiles or patterns or what have you. Boy, Harry and Amy, you must really enjoy coming down to this area every year. I'm assuming that this is where you spend a good portion of your summers. And now just up here, I'm coming to the looks like I don't know if it's the mouth of the river, but you can see you got your boats. Hear some gentlemen talking in Portuguese. All right, let's go explore the other side of the town. All right, well, forgive the noise, but this would be the market that I believe people have been telling me about. They have some area closed off where they're doing some fixing of whatever, or remodeling of whatever, but nonetheless, this is the market. I'm sure you probably in the certain times of year you probably have vendors come and put their stalls up here and sell fruits and vegetables and what have you. All right, let's continue on. I'm crossing the river, and I opted to cross over this bridge and return on the bridge built by the Romans. And nothing but a lot of locals walking out and about. Here's a nice view, looking out over the bridge. There's a woman on the way to the market. Looks like her husband following behind. All right. Quite a different scene in the summer months, I'm sure. Nice view of where I actually started the tour, from the other side of the river. You can see the church up there and part of the castle wall. Alright, when you come to Tavira, you can, grab yourself one of these. You can grab yourself a taxi, or alternatively, if the taxi's not your style, you can grab yourself a tuk-tuk. You see? This is a tuk-tuk. And you can zip around town in your own little tuk-tuk. You'll see these all over the streets here in Portugal. So I'm going to just take you for a walk down through some of this area here. Look at this building. It is a very, very small little town, without doubt. I see quite a few Indian restaurants here in Tavira. I see an Indian gift shop. Wonderful. There's an Italian restaurant, Indian restaurant. They must have a fairly good size Indian population here in Portugal. Haven't seen any Turkish restaurants. Haven't seen any kebab stands. Last night I was out and about to grab a bite to eat, and I came along a very small little cafe, perhaps that is just up ahead here. And in the front of the cafe there were some locals playing music. There are a couple violin players, a guitar, and a bass. From what I understand, it is all about that bass. For those of you older folk, you probably don't know the reference to that. All about that bass. I think there's a song. And here is the cafe right here last night, where I came across that group playing their music right here. I think it's a popular hangout for folks, maybe locals in the evening time. All right, so I'm gonna go and find my way to the bridge and then wrap this up. So in wrapping this video up, I'll take you along the bridge built by the Romans. You see the old timer riding his bike across. Perhaps he's on a mission to go get some stuff for lunch for the old lady back home. Hope you enjoyed this tour of Tavira here in the beautiful Algarve region of Portugal. Have a wonderful day. Well, as it would turn out, on my way back to the hotel, as I had hoped, the church was open, and for the cost of €2.50, I decided to bring you inside and give you a tour. No magnificently painted ceiling here in this church, but there are some really breathtaking altars and shrines, which I'll share with you. And if I'm not mistaken, you can actually go up to the bell tower, I was told, and have a nice view. So I'm just going to walk you through this church here in its entirety, give you a nice idea. Really beautiful artwork. This is the Capella Baptismal right here. I'm not quite sure where the bell tower is, but look at this. Capella do Senhor do Passos. Look at. Really something to see. And if I pan my way a little bit over here, you know, you do the best you can with the camera work here. And over here you have the Virgin Mary. This may actually be a good time to ask those of you watching this video, and you can put your answer in the comments. If you could choose just one person from history to have dinner with tomorrow night, just you and that individual, who would you want to sit down and have dinner with? I wouldn't mind sitting down and having dinner with that man right there. That would be a interesting dining experience for sure. I've heard all types of answers to that question. Most recently, Emmanuel, who painted a portrait of my father that I'm going to see later today, said he'd like to have dinner with none other than Winston Churchill. Come down a little bit. Well, it's really wonderful to be able to share this with you. And then look at the tile work, which is a masterpiece in and by itself. All right. We get another altar. Look at this. I don't know if down at the base of this, these people are in hell. It looks like fire. You can see. And here they have somebody. Not sure who this would be. You can't really see. Here would be the main altar. other side of the church as well. Somewhere is the entrance to the bell tower. Here's a confessional. This is, where Skip Smith ever came to Tavira. He'd probably want to spend the better part of his visit here in the confessional, confessing all of his sins. Look at that. All right. I'll see if I can't find my way up to the bell tower and give you a nice view. And this would be the view from the bell tower here in Tavira. So with that, now I can wrap up the tour and get on with my day and let you do the same. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.